I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing!
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Who do you think is gonna fix all this? We will, because our future is the future. The next greatest generation is now.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch ahead!
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing!
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Who do you think is gonna fix all this? We will, because our future is the future. The next greatest generation is now.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch it!
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Who do you think is gonna fix all this? We will, because our future is the future. The next greatest generation is now.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch it!
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
Hello, my friends. Happy Friday, and welcome to the NJCAAE Friday Night Overwatch Match of the Week. My name is Jeff. I'm here alongside Jag, and we got a great matchup lined for you. The defending champs from the fall season coming back to show us what they got here for springtime. Yeah, absolutely. Bryant Stratton, they were so decisively dominant in that fall final. You and I, we were there for it. We got to see it firsthand, that 3-0 victory that they got. But there's a new team on the prowl, Northwestern Michigan. They were looking really good last week when I got a look at them. They're coming into this 1-0. Bryant Stratton, they're coming off of a bye, actually. So I haven't seen them yet in the spring split. We already know that this lineup, it's not going to be the exact same 6-person squad that we saw in the fall. It's going to be just a little bit different, especially in that DPS lineup. Yeah, we're not going to have Everlong in the lineup this time around, who was a big part, long-range hit scan there for Bryant and Stratton. Instead, it looks like we're going to get Narwhal in that DPS line, so we'll see if that changes anything. They were very strong already, great core coming out from the tank line of Cyber and OBL, so I don't expect it to have too big of a difference, but, I mean, you know, you were talking that the DPS from Northwest Michigan, I mean, they really popped off last week, so if the DPS can't step up, Witness and Nom might just run away with this thing.
Yeah, Northwestern Michigan, they looked really, really good in that 3-0 victory I got to see over Ocean County. Like you said, Nom and Witness, I feel like they're the stand-up performers, in my opinion. I feel like, in general, a very solid team. The one thing, I guess, that I'm looking out for is that it did seem like they slowed down as time went on. Maybe it was just the map type, the maps that specifically weren't in their wheelhouse as much. They looked very good on Lijiang Tower. That was a runaway performance. Got a little bit closer on Hybrid, and then Assault, which was Temple Anubis, seemed to actually losable at some point. Seems like it could have gone on to another map, or at least maybe a draw. So I'm really interested to see if, you know, that endurance factor of being able to perform at the same level can sustain throughout all 3 maps, or maybe they start out hot and then fizzle a little bit. Going up against the defending champions, you got to bring it all to the table each and every time you go out there.
Yeah, and that tells me if BSC picks up this first map, then the Bobcats are going to be in a really good position, considering how strong Northwestern Michigan looked on control. So Lijiang Tower could really set the stage for the rest of this series. We got some interesting... Talking about Nom and Witness again, I mean, they brought out a plethora of heroes. I saw Nom pick up at least 4, maybe 5 different heroes when I was going back and reviewing last week's game.
Yeah, I think the Reaper was probably the one that I remember the most. The Reaper looked really, really dominant. They did a really good job at playing the Reaper with a bunch of different other things. Witness pulled out the Genji quite a bit, which is a bit surprising. I don't think Genji's really been meta for a while now. It could work. It seemed to work last week. I think that was a big part in the fact that actually Ocean County also played the Genji, and it was kind of like a statement like, hey, you know, we see you bringing it out. We're going to bring out our own. We're going to play it just as well, if not better, which they did. But I would be pretty surprised if they ran it again here. It seems like more of just a, you know, we're going to match you blow for blow, as opposed to this is something that we came out with as a strategy. But who knows? It could be on the table once more.
I mean, Witness looked really confident on that Genji. It was clean and crispy. So it wouldn't surprise me to see it, but it does seem like kind of a niche thing, right? Like if they don't have CC, if they don't have defensive ultimates that can deal with a Genji, and specifically a Nano Blade, because we did see the Nano run in tandem with that, then you can just run through a backline, run through an enemy team. But compositionally, if the Bobcats are built for it, then perhaps Witness just sticks with the Hanzo, which we saw a little bit more of.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Hanzo is a great pick right now. I wouldn't say he's the most meta pick. You know, I feel like the meta doesn't exactly exist because Overwatch League hasn't been around for a while. There's been a few tier 2 events here and there, but nothing's really substantial. I feel like it's either going to be a Wrecking Ball sort of composition or what we've seen more of here in the NJCAAE, which has been Brawl, Rein Diva, Rein Zarya. That's kind of been the standard on most maps. And because of that, there is going to be a lot of Hanzo play with the Zarya. So it's definitely possible. In fact, you don't really need to run a Zarya. It just works really well if you're going to run the Hanzo with the Graviton Search and the Dragon Strike, because that is almost certain win con for a fight. You get them locked in with the grab, the Dragon comes through, and they're kind of wiped off the map after that combo does hit. We'll have to see what comes out here. I think I'm really interested to see more about the Bobcats, though, and how they play about Everlong. Everlong was the hit scan, flick scan, as you described it earlier in our pre-production meeting. They played a lot of long range, especially a lot of Ashe. Ashe was kind of the thing we saw them on the most throughout their series when they won the championship during the fall. So can Narwhal play the same heroes? They have a similar pool, or are they going to swap things up and play it a little bit differently?
We are starting on Lijiang Tower again here in week number 2. It will be a loser pick from there. Headed to Mecca Base, so certainly the home of that brawl. We're going to get a good up-close and personal look at both of our team's capabilities there. The Bobcats showing us that Doomfist. We saw a bit of this Doomfist before. It was actually Slater playing the Doomfist when we saw him in the Fall Grand Finals. So with Miro actually coming to the battlefield and Narwhal picking up the tank role.
That's really interesting, considering the fact that their tank line is intact from the finals, but instead they have swapped a new tank in, OBL. is going to be playing the Zarya, and instead Narwhal going to be playing the main tank here.
And look at how aggressive Narwhal's getting right out of the gate, claiming so much position. But, all right, the Doomfist was down. I was worried for a second. Narwhal gets the better end of the Reinhardt battle, though, and that's a massive advantage. Now Slater just has free reign, who's gone over to a Widowmaker. There's something you don't see on Control Center very often, but making it work. Slater's got 2 picks, and Bryant Stratton got the point.
Yeah, it doesn't really work out because the sightlines aren't great for Widow. This is very close quarters combat, but if you're able to play, I guess, far enough away, it could work out beautifully. And Bryant Stratton, they've won that first fight, they've gotten that first capture, and now this Widowmaker can sit up on the side. This could be an early spawn camp. This is an Ant Matrix specifically for the Widowmaker. Immediately they're gonna just give up that back. That's a lot of commitment for not a lot of enemies. Like, for at least 10 seconds, and we'll have to see how this engagement goes now.
There might have been a slight miscommunication there, but Vortex Pixel coming ramming back in. Pickle, that is, has an Earth Shatter, so not even going to get a chance to use it. The bodies are dropping so fast. Even a late Graviton Surgeon, not sure you needed it. Hey, but that's one exclamation point on another emphatic fight win.
Yeah, that's 2 ultimates back to back. Maybe not necessary, but you're holding on to this archway here. You're holding on to the doorway. It makes it very hard for Northwestern Michigan to actually come in. You're just continuing to get up the clock. You gotta be really careful here for this Doomfist, though. You're so deep, and Muro, yeah, will end up falling. Immortality Field committed too, so this actually is looking pretty good for Northwestern Michigan. Question is, can they run in? They have a Riptire. This could be a really good key, and they get Unjustice too.
Oh, Miro is just all W all time. Nice Shatter's going to fly in 30. Try to bring back this 3-player deficit, and indeed they will. Even taking out the tire on the other side, Witness tried to claw their way back into it, knowing they had the early advantage, but no, ABL just dominating this fight.
Yeah, the Riptire, it's not effective. It does come out, but doesn't get as much as they need. The Earth Shatter coming out from Narwhal, it is spectacular. And, well, they only have 3 ultimates to work with. There's one of them, Ant Matrix, again in pretty precarious position, and they lose Slater.
Oh, I love this Bryant Stratton team. There's just no S key on their keyboards whatsoever. It is all forward. And the aggression's paying off. They're the ones with the 2-player advantage here now, as there's nobody even near the point. A very clean 100-0 to start things off.
Well, that was one fight on the point, and everything else was in Northwestern Michigan's spawn, essentially. Just they were held there. They could not get through. Even when they had 2 members up, somehow, some way, Bryant Stratton continued to just hold. It was a 4v6, still win that one out of an Earth Shatter. The ultimates, they were online for Northwestern Michigan, but they couldn't touch the point, and as our observer, Reef, showed us, there's just no one around. The Zarya, Nawe fam, tried their best to make it there, couldn't get it done, and that was very much a statement victory for Bryant Stratton. Now, they'll be bringing out, looks like Genji, potentially, of their own, more of a dive comp, Northwestern Michigan. They'll be sticking with the Brawl comp. They will have that Symmetra, and I think the most important thing about that is that they will be able to get to the point pretty quickly. But this dive comp could just run around them, especially with the Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, nobody has to just run it together.
What?
Oh, speaking of Wrecking Balls, all right, OBL just snapped their fingers, and there goes half the team. Northwest Michigan are all taking a swim with the fishies. Oh,
that's a team kill, and the point hasn't even unlocked yet. That
an 85% to mines.
I mean, that's a great way to stall out if you end up losing this. That is just so... I think they probably predicted this would come out, so they immediately told OBL, rotate to where this Symmetra teleport might leave them off. You can boot them right through the window. We didn't get to see it. That's just my guesstimation, but just what a beautiful play to open things up.
Oh, and off the side goes Vortex Pickle once again. OBL picks up another, their 5th environmental kill already in 2 engagements. Witness tries to go over to the soldier here after the last failure, but just no dice, no teleporter anymore, and Northwestern searching for answers.
It's looking like we have our answer early on. Obviously, it's only 1 map in, but can this new lineup for Bryant Stratton be just as dominant? The answer is yes. We'll have to see if they can hold on to it throughout the series, but Set now is in a position to potentially go for a very aggressive sleep dart, and everyone's just jumping in.
Miro has the blade online, still 13% away from a nano. Don't need it this fight. That's good. Give time for Set to build that the rest of the way up. And Bryant Stratton are looking in control and in a great spot for at least the next couple of engagements.
And the only complaint there is that they didn't stagger out the Pilot Diva a little bit more. Could have burned some more time off the clock, instead go for the instant elim. But they have 5 ultimates. Northwestern Michigan have nothing. They're going to try to swap Nom over to the Ashe, maybe play a little bit further back. Set again in a very aggressive positioning.
Does get the nano off. Miro pulls out the blade and immediately chops through a 2. Finds a 3rd. There's 4. Miro pulls up a nice 4K. The Cyber Ninja just dominating and assassinating everybody in their wake.
Yep, and they don't get the diva. That's the one bright thing I would say for Northwestern Michigan. They keep the mech. They're able to get back to this a lot faster. The Ana might be a little bit slow. The Bryant Stratton, they still have 4 ultimates to use, though. One of them is gone. Slater, what happened there?
Uh-oh. Maybe just misuse of your resources on that one, but a big anti on a non-wave fan. They're in a lot of trouble. Here comes the aggression on the back of a Primal Minds and a Sound Barrier. Big investment, but with only 5% remaining, it's the right call and well rewarded, as Bryant Stratton will take their second 100-0. And wow, what a dominant performance on Lijiang Tower. There's some questions answered right out of the gate, just like you said, Jack.
Yeah, we were assuming that Nara was the new DPS based on the lineup that we were given. Cyber is still on the roster, who was one of the tanks in the last series that we got to cast in that grand finals during the fall, so we were a bit surprised not to see them, but regardless of the change, yeah, I was right. I called it, though. I was right. That's exactly what it was. Right through the window. Oh, that's so unfortunate. But, I mean, what's not unfortunate for Bryant Stratton, despite the 2 changes they've had in their lineup, they are looking still very spectacular.
And looking like the team to beat already 1 map in. It's their first map of this season. And, well, they came out swinging quite literally from OBL standards. So there you go. That was a lightning fast Lijiang Tower. Hey, good news for the Hawk Owls. They will have map pick for map number 2, heading to our hybrid map type, trying to take us to a place where maybe they feel a little bit more comfortable. They ended up playing Hollywood last week. Looked pretty dominant on that map. I'm curious to see where they take us in week 2.
Yeah, and usually the reason you don't want to go to King's Row is just you want to avoid the brawl combination, or the brawl matchup, excuse me. They didn't get the choice last weekend because they did get the win on the first map on Lijiang Tower, so they were only able to pick side. They had to go into what was Ocean County's pick, still were able to put on pretty strong performance, but the cards are on their table. They get to choose what they want here. There's a lot of great options for hybrid. I think we saw there that they mirrored them in Brawl, weren't able to really win that out. A very interesting DPS lineup for Bryant Stratton that still seemed to win, and against the dive when Wrecking Ball hybrid comp they faced off, really never stood a chance. You got to outspeed a Wrecking Ball in that case. You got to play around your Lucio. Very difficult, very tricky. Even the Symmetra teleport really didn't give them that advantage they were looking for. No. So there's got to be something they can do here, but honestly, I'm not sure what it is. I would just love to see them pull out some sort of trick from what they got in their playbook.
Well, they definitely have the versatility. That was on display last week. We know they have a wide amount of compositions and heroes as a squad that the Hawk Owls can pull out. I mean, you might even just go anti-dive. I mean, just do something that's got like the Orisa Diva Torbjorn setup if BSC want to continue running the Wrecking Ball alongside the Winston. You could always come out in that regard. Northwestern Michigan will be defending as we head into what it will be Kings Row is their map pick here. So, okay, maybe the dive anti-dive isn't the play. We're going into Brawl City, and they lost the Brawl Mirror just outright on Control Center and really and quite a stomp. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't very close on that one. Let's be real, friends. So I'm curious to see what goes on here. I mean, you can bring dive out in Kings Row. It's not unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, especially I remember like during, I want to say 2021 winter, 2020, I think, there was a lot of Wrecking Ball comps being played in the upper elos, especially on EU, on Kings Row. It's possible. It's definitely something that has been run. I don't think we're going to see it. I feel like we will see the Brawl Mirror. I think the difference here is that the DPS lineups will look very different than what we saw previously on Lijiang Tower. We saw Junkrat, we saw Widow, we saw Reaper, we saw Symmetra. I feel like this is more of a Cassidy May setup. It's kind of been that way for quite a bit. Reason why is Cassidy is a good mid-range to close-range DPS hero, can run in with the flashbang, fan the hammer, or can do quite a bit of headshot damage from afar. And then the May, really good at stopping approaches or just cutting off the enemy team, especially the Reinhardt. You just wall someone out, and then you just kind of focus them down. It's kind of been the staple. Again, Widowmaker, very possible here. We could see that come out from Slater once more, especially on the attacking side. There's some really good angles you can set up on early, try to maybe find a cheeky pick and then move forward with that. But I think Rhine will be the name of the game. We'll have to see who plays it better.
I mean, it's tried and true, right? Classic home of Reinhardt, designed for Reinhardt. Arguably the second map ever created in Overwatch, heading to the fan favorite Kings Row. And definitely getting that on the defense. As Nama's going to pull out the Ash, and we're going to get the Witness Genji. So we'll see how Bryant Stratton respond to this. They're showing us some funny stuff right now, but I wouldn't put any stock into that. Let's give them their 17 seconds to really solidify their attacking composition.
Remember, this is a Bryant Stratton team that coming into the playoffs were ranked 14th overall, and they told us why. It's because they had to actually choose different tournaments to play in every week. So they had to keep kind of mitigating their games or choosing where to be each week, and because of that, they had to give some forfeits. They could have been a much higher seed, but now they've shown everyone exactly what they're made of. It is going to be the funny comp coming out, so we did see a Wrecking Ball Roadhog comp in the finals. We didn't see it with the Sigma Roadhog, but I think this could be very effective, and Witness, again, going to have to show that they are the better Genji against Miro.
Pig's Feet, you were talking about 2020. Pig's Feet is a bit of a 2020 composition, and it's working well. Miro and Slater already coming up with some goods, giving a nice advantage over to Bryant Stratton, and they've pushed all the way into the streets.
Yeah, Miro, was the name of an Overwatch League player long ago in the history books, one of the actual founding players of how Winston is played today.
Top 10
Not
tank?
a main tank player, but definitely looking just as effective and efficient in this matchup. Oh my goodness, it is just the Miro show, and they continue to push this team back.
Miro just proven dominance. Alpha Genji right now. Goes and waits out the purple, able to get topped off. Good angle from Blink. Ooh! Blink is gonna fall. And there we go. This just continues to be Bryant Stratton controlling the streets of Kings Row. The card is still all the way back on point A.
Yeah, they have not gotten a lot of movement. They've gotten a lot of positioning, though, and they've gotten a lot of eliminations, too. They've got the Blade. There's no Nano to go with it. They're probably going to have to commit sets Valkyrie to try to go for an extra damage boost and dedicated healing. Oh, Witness. Oh, that's not where you want to be, but they get out. Okay, that's not terrible for Northwestern Michigan. Now they know exactly where Narwhal is. This is interesting, honestly, because they have great positioning, but still no cart movement. It's very slow. You usually want to have about 3 people on it to get the most, and right now only 1, so they've barely even gotten it through halfway through the second point.
Yeah, I mean, with this composition, I don't blame them for only having 1 on. They are doing a good job of controlling the space. I mean, you can see Nam just has no room to work, barely halfway to a Death Blossom. Slater eventually punished, but up on that catwalk, easy res coming through for set. Lots of ults to work with. In fact, all 6 online, and it's getting Miro's Blade to start things off. Whole Hog an accompaniment, and Witness falls to the Genji Blade. Looking for Nam again. Nam just can't play the game. Neither can Blink. And Bryant Stratton are absolutely having a field day here on Kings Row.
Yeah, and Vortex Pickle actually got Nano throughout all of that. They got the Shatter online, but the team was falling too much. I think the call was made not to commit the Earth Shatter there, not try to be the hero, because maybe able to knock everyone down, make them go unconscious for just a few moments, but they'll probably get back up in time for them to win that fight. So they'll hold on to that. They'll have 4 ultimates to go, but they won't have that Nano Blade. So Witness going to have to use a Blade maybe backed by the Sound Barrier, but that's such a hasty commitment that's so dangerous.
Could be a Grav Blade, but not if the support line just gets executed immediately. Blink has no time to do anything. There's nothing left to sustain this defense from Northwest Michigan. This is a monstrous time bank. Absolute speed run through England right now. Bryant and Stratton are looking so dominant, looking like the champs.
Yeah, there's so many good monuments you want to see in London as well, but they want to make their way through it. Sound Barrier comes out to counter the Blade, but Slater still falls.
Yeah, Witness had some extra shielding. Vortex Pixel throws down the Shatter, combined with the Death Blossom. A couple kills light up, but nobody is on cart. Miro executed everybody who was holding down the cart while Vortex Pickle was trying to clean up the back line, and OBL and Miro just pushed the thing right on in.
You know, Jeff, I always say this. You could technically win a game of Overwatch without ever getting elimination. The odds of it, very unlikely, but if, you kept fighting off point and you just held possession of it, it's possible, and there is a perfect example of why you gotta always remember the objective. They were winning the fight. The first fight they'd really won throughout 1.5 maps so far. They were putting ultimates in. They were able to catch people off guard, but they were just too far forward. They left a lone Sigma on the cart, and they were just able to walk it in. And you saw the Reinhardt Vortex Pickle trying to charge in, trying to get there just in the nick of time. It was just a little bit too late. Bryant and Stratton, they finished that 4 minutes 40.
In the Hawk Owl's defense, they had the off tank there trying to hold down the objective, but it just wasn't enough. Like, they had a plan to stall the cart, we just got absolutely demolished. And whoever was remaining was sent back to spawn. And yeah, Vortex and Witness were too far forward, I think, to do anything about it. So it wasn't an entire C9. Like, I don't want to completely flame him for that. But nevertheless, I mean, you got to play the objective.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just get a little bit too focused on like getting those eliminations, and like you've got faith in your teammate. Hey, they can hold it down, but they're just not on the same page long enough. It was a good. I think the biggest thing is like they were able to finally win some fights. They're able to get an opening pick here. I mean, it's a lot of time for Bryant Stratton, but you never know what could happen.
Running into a wrecking ball hog defense. Northwestern are pulling out a sniper of their own. Nom looking to have the same success that Slater saw on the other side. Gets run off of the top of the theater and has to just settle for some low ground shots. Not ideal, but can at least stay safe from OBL. Maybe even pepper some stuff in. But NJCAAE's already down on the attack. Gets hooked dead, and OBL continues to wreak havoc. 2 opening picks for the defense. There's a third just for good measure. Make it 4. Why not?
Yeah, just add another one on top of it. Injustice. One of the bravest Lucios I've ever seen in my life, just going all the way into their backline, being able to tell the tale this time, though, after taking out by Nom early on. Now Nom going to be going to the Pharah, to this pharmacy. There's no real direct counter on the side of Bryant Stratton, maybe except for the, I would say, Roadhog is their best chance at maybe trying to get something there. If they get a good hook, it could work out, but there's no hit scan, so this could work out really, really well if they're able to hit their rockets.
Yeah, a nice raid with plenty of time to build up ultimates. But the goal is really going to be to try to corral Narwhal and Slater. I think that has to be the target for Northwest Michigan as they look to push in here. Right now, they're just struggling to get past the Junkrat spam that's going into the main choke. Vortex Pickle looking for an opening, but it's just eating so much damage. The shield is just taking too much of a walloping, and they have no resources to even push through this main choke. And now the pharmacy's gone down, taking way too long to create an opening. Finally, Bryant Stratton strike and are able to pick this attack apart.
Yeah, it's good to stay alive for a while, like Northwestern Michigan did, but they're not able to really find anything out of it. They're just kind of hanging out in your choke, can't get through it, and then they fall one by one. That's a pretty late stagger kill onto NJCAAE fam, so plenty of time Bryant Stratton to continue to set up and build up these ultimates. We casted Bryant Stratton actually on this map during the finals, and this is looking very similar to what we saw then. I just remember them absolutely taking apart the team they played in that series, not giving up even a single tick. They have 5 ultimates to use. It looks like they're setting up maybe for some sort of Wrecking Ball Junkrat combination, and Slater's just going to take to the sky here.
Oh, was looking for the kill. Witness has got the blade out, though. This is a great opportunity. Southbringer out from Injustice. Might just stop Witness in their tracks. And now Miro is going to respond. No value from the Nano Blade from the attacking Northwestern Michigan. Rez comes through on the Slater. And with ults expended, Northwest Michigan have still gained 0 ground.
Good news, though, is that they used less than was used on the other side. Bryant Stratton, they used, I believe, 4 or 5 ultimates in the last minute or so. Slater is the only one who's got their ultimate left, and I believe that's only mostly because they were taken out first, that Riptire's ready to go, but the Barrage, the Earth Shatter, as well as the Mines are all ready, but no, Nom, I believe they were hooked out because they had the stun effect on their cards, so they were actually hooked out of the air there.
Yeah, that was a nice hook from Narwhal, indeed. Doesn't really should get punished, but it takes NJCAAE fam's Mines just to take Narwhal down. 5v5 on the point, and that balance just got tilted as Slater's tire finally hits the battlefield. Northwestern Michigan trying to loop around the side, but there's only half a squad here, and now the sustain is gone. Blink taken out, finished off by Set, and Northwestern Michigan scrambling in a panic, going down the Earth Shatter, hoping it'll get him any kind of room to work, but Bryant and Stratton are too strong. They have built a wall, a fortress on this point, and they're not giving up an inch.
No, they are not. OPL almost has the Mines. Could be a great way to even prevent them from touching the point once and for all, but only 10 seconds left. Someone's got to get there. It's going to have to be the Reinhardt, and I'm not sure they make it.
2, 1, so close. Actually, all right, spawns overtime. Now let's see what you can do with it, Vortex. Not a lot there so far. Nom in the skies. Needs to land some directs now. I mean, this is do or die time as Bryant Stratton already just have a monstrous time bank. They had ults to spare. There's just no pushing through this. The Nano Blade was Northwestern Michigan's best opportunity, and they were not able to get anything done with it. All Bryant and Stratton from their downhill game forward, the defense after the 2-minute mark, and they do not falter in the slightest. 2-0 lead and match point for BSC Bobcats.
OBL was the reason why they're able to touch at the end. Actually bumped Vortex onto the point, but it was just a little bit too late. That barrage that came out in the previous fight, if they had that there, that could have been the icing on the cake for potential capture, but it came out a little bit too early in the previous engagement. Wasn't able to find people as it needed to, and like you said, it is 2-0 Bryant Stratton. They were the champions for a reason last semester, and they are looking, it's early on, but it looks like they definitely want to repeat and keep their title here in the spring.
I mean, they haven't given up a single point. No points given on Kings Row, no points given on Lijiang Tower. This has been an absolute clean sweep, and with the emphasis on clean, all caps on that one. They're going to hope to close it out and see if they can get 3 in a row, not give up anything. We're going to take a short little intermission. When we come back, it'll be Northwestern Michigan's map pick on Assault. We'll see you back here for map 3 in just a moment.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Who do you think is gonna fix all this? We will, because our future is the future. The next greatest generation is now.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch ahead.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Bobcats are up 2-0, and emphatically, might I add, here in our Friday night Overwatch match of the week in the NJCAAE. And wow, it's quite a start for the Bobcats. But hey, before we get back into talking about this series, we got to thank some of our friends that allow us to be here in the first place.
Yeah, the Bobcats, they are definitely playing to win, and they're not the only one. Lenovo Legion knows you play to win. To stand out from the competition, you need equipment that matches the speed of your thoughts and actions. The Legion Y25 monitor delivers wins in the toughest, most critical situations. With its extreme 1 ms response time to its insane 240 Hz refresh rate, the Legion Y25 doesn't just keep up, but does a lot more.
Built for those engaged in vast multiplayer battles at the tournament level, the Legion Y25 offers a 24.5-inch FHD IPS panel with built-in NVIDIA G-Sync capability. The Legion Y25 monitor is available at Lenovo.com or at other fine retailers.
Yeah, and
big shout out.
Out of the way, we can move on to what might be our final map of the night. And I mean, I think you said it up perfectly. It's just been a very one-sided affair thus far. We have seen moments from Northwestern Michigan where the Owls have looked like maybe they can step it up, maybe they can fight back. There's been fights where they've gotten opening picks, but despite being down in numbers, Bryant Stratton, the Bobcats just seem to bring it back every single time, and we'll see if they can bring it back one more time to put it away. It's going to be Hanamura for our last map of the night, and with that, I'm hoping we see some more Symmetra strategies, because I feel like her teleporter is a lot of fun to play around.
And I think it's important to note that BSC have chosen to go on the attack first here on Hanamura. So they're gonna set the stage. Chose to defend first. I got my wires crossed. Forgive me. Chose to defend first. So we'll see how they can hold up. I mean, if they put up another big full hold, then they know exactly what to do on their attack. They could potentially have 4 minutes just to take point A and bank all of their ultimates. But first things first, they got to defend. I mean, can't count out Northwestern Michigan just yet. I mean, it's not over until it's over. There's always a chance for a comeback.
Yeah, and one thing that you and I had talked about during kind of the pregame was that we saw that Northwestern Michigan did kind of slow down over time. Well, this is the time to do the exact opposite. They got to speed up here. They got to step up right now. This is their final opportunity here in this match. Good news is that you lose here, it's not the end of the world. You're already up 1-0 on the season. You go to 1-1, plenty of matches to continue, being in the upper echelon of the NJCAAE Overwatch division, and you would be losing to the defending champion. So there's a lot you can always take away from matches like this. I've seen matches like, I don't understand why you can say when someone loses what they can take away. This is the perfect opportunity to VOD review. You got a VOD review basically from the broadcast. You can look over things like positioning, alt usage, compositions, figuring out, hey, how do we run it differently in the future? But that is a what-if scenario. Like you said, they're still in this. They're going to be trying to run the Reaper and the Genji as they made work last week on Temple of Anubis. See if they can do it again here.
You certainly learn a lot more from your losses and failures than you do from victories. That is for sure. Northwestern Michigan, no Simstrat here for the attack. Sticking with the Reaper Genji brawl. But Narwhal just waiting for him up high. Look at that focus fire. Beautiful stuff. And a rare early pick here for Northwestern Michigan. Able to get the main tank out of the fight. Winston's gone, and Northwestern Michigan need to push in. They're going to go to that top left high ground, try to find some space to work. Slater looking to cut him off at the pass. Does get slept, but 2 kills go for the defense. It's going to be a 4v4 on this point. Respawn's favoring the attackers, and Northwestern Michigan are going to one and done point A.
Yeah, it looks like they broke this thing open unless Narwhal and somehow Set are able to pull this back. Looking very unlikely, though. Should be able to finish it out, and Well, there is still Lucio alive, so you never know what could happen here, but very clean, very good at focusing the players that were out of position, now set. Probably gonna be waiting for that last second contest. There's actually someone else who's there first. I don't know, is this holdable? We'll have to see.
Not really any ults online. I think it's just buying as much time as possible. And there it is. The cap finally comes through. Just under 6 minutes for the Hawk Owls to work with. Not really coming up on a whole lot ult-wise. They could kind of just poke and prod and build up those DPS ults, perhaps that nano.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is they have to take this high ground. They don't have the most long-range comp in the world, but being able to set up their Ana up there would be huge. Just leave her there, let her take advantage of that positioning to heal. Make sure that there's not a wrecking ball bullying them in the back line. You never know how this could turn out. This is looking the best. They've already taken 1 point, and it's a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, but Witness was so close to that blade. I think they'd have liked to have had that online. If anything, for next fight, this is going to be a hold to start things off, so no snowball into point B. Northwestern Michigan, you just need to get back and respawn as quick as you can. This is just wasting time.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that's different about that approach was that on point A, Northwestern Michigan, they didn't focus on the wrecking ball, never the one you want to look for, because they can easily get in and out unless you have some really great CC, like a hack or a stun, like a flashbang. It was the Winston. Winston has 1 primal leap every few seconds, and if you're able to catch them off guard before they use that, it's pretty easy to melt them down. So they did a really good job of that and just kind of ran through. Even if they do catch someone out of position here, the spawn for Bryant Stratton is so good that it won't be nearly as well like Set, who is just sound barrier themselves all the way in attacker spawn and may still live to tell the tale.
Oh my goodness. But hey, it was that sound barrier that kept Bryant Stratton alive on the Kings Row defense against the Nano Blade. What they've been missing it here is Witness unsheathes the sword, gets the boost, and goes in. Doesn't really find anything. Bryant Stratton do a good job of just scattering. Eventually hunts down Miro on the outside. OBL is purple there for a moment. Hellfire Shotgun trying to focus him down, but here comes the heals from Injustice. Injustice needing some heals of their own. Has to Wraith form out. But it looks like Bryant Stratton have stabilized just by staying alive and devaluing the Nano Blade a little bit, as well as the sound barrier that came out for the attackers. The defense will eventually overwhelm. Just sustain through it.
That's what I was just talking about. I mean, you can get that early pick, and it's great, but there's just too much... I guess there isn't enough distance between where the defender spawn and where the point actually is. It's very close. It's definitely a defender advantage in that scenario. Because of that, they lose 1 or 2. They just split for the blade, and then that's it. That's basically the fight won already, because Bryant Stratton, they get everyone back, and then they just were able to focus fire down the Genji, and then they go on from there. Well, to see if Northwestern Michigan can try to get more done. The Graviton Surge into the Death Blossom would be huge, but unfortunately they're losing their Ana right away.
I love the goal of the support line. This is amazing. Most more Lucios, well, needless to say, I don't think I'd even need to say it, would not go for something like that. And that's kind of why Nam is able to find 3 with the Death Blossom. Narwhal, knowing the advantage, is going to go ahead and pop the Primal Rage. It takes a solo grab just to try to devalue Narwhal. And the remaining members of the attacking squad from Northwestern Michigan try to move on to the objective, but the respawns are just too good.
Yeah, and that's actually a huge decision there by Northwestern Michigan, because that was a winning combo they could have had. You saw how devastating it was. They got 3 people just because they were a little bit too close to the sun when the ultimate was popped. If they didn't be able to get the whole team, or maybe one more person in there when all of their team is there, when Northwestern Michigan is actually in the fight, that could have been the point cap. That could have been the map, possibly extending into overtime, depending on how Bryant Stratton do on their attacking round. But instead, it's just, yeah, you get the kills. The grab not in particular, but the Death Blossom gets kills. You kind of just put the grab down the drain, and now you got nothing to work with going into this. You are close to a Nano Blade, but Set does have that sound barrier, and I don't think they're going to be as overly eager to use it on a 1v6 as they were last time.
Give me the mines coming out, start things off on the bridge, separating the tank line from the back line for Northwestern Michigan. +2 to the defense right now as Miro is just continuing to make life so difficult. Northwest Michigan don't know where to look. They want to pounce on this Widowmaker. They want to pounce on the back line, and Bryant Stratton just aren't giving any easy access.
Yeah, I mean, the Widowmaker has a way to escape with her hook. Doomfist can punch in and out. Primal Leap. Moira's got Fade. Lucio's fast. And then Wrecking Ball just Wrecking Ball things. You know, everyone basically can escape on the side of Bryant Stratton. I would say Slater is the most vulnerable because they have the longest cooldown on their movement ability, which is a big part of why they fell so early in that fight, why Nom was able to run them down. But after that, there was really no focus fire. They were just able to split apart. Good news, though, is that there is going to be a Nano Blade online. It's got to be their bread and butter. It's got to be their saving grace.
Nice moves from Blink, and the triple cooldown engagement doesn't have any value. Miro does eventually pick up one after using the using that Doomfist ultimate to escape. No kills on the Meteor Strike, but hey, you can triple cooldown engage and then come back with more. Northwestern Michigan still pushing on this objective despite having suffered some casualties along the way. It looks like there were just 2 left in the Reaper and the Lucio. Excuse me, it was 3, including Nawe Fam, but they're easily handled.
There's so much time, though. There is enough time for this to be a full team engagement, I believe. And maybe 1 or 2 of those members that fell last won't be there. But Nano Blade, Earth Shatter, Sound Barrier, there is so much that could go right here. And the Sound Barrier has been biset in that last fight. I'm not exactly sure why, but they used it, and now it's going to be up to the Coalescence. Coalescence really good at everything else besides the Nano Blade.
There we go. There we go. Witness is able to pick up 3, and that's the start Northwestern Michigan have been looking for the past 6 minutes. Now the Sound Barrier used aggressively, knowing that there's not one on the other side. Death Blossom thrown in, the Narwhal is able to get out of there, pops the Primal Rage, and despite the anti somehow survives. And this defense is starting to swarm. Northwestern Michigan have to focus fire down something, preferably Narwhal, but to no avail. They're a little too scattered. The grab comes in, finds 3, but there's not enough reinforcements left. The grab is too little, too late for Northwestern Michigan. They do manage to get 1 tick of permanent progress, but not much more than that.
Nom, that's so unfortunate. Your Death Blossom, you think it's going to be what puts away this point. That's going to get you the full cap, but it's used into Winston that pops Primal just in the nick of time. They have too much health to sustain through that ultimate. They get to double their pool. They get full health again. No matter what they're at, they get 1,000 immediately. So a great decision there to stay alive by that Winston. And I think Nom, maybe if they'd held on to that a little bit longer, they had waited for the full team engagement and been able to get a bunch of squishier characters in one area like they had previously when they got that triple kill. That could have been what put it away. But instead, it's only going to be 36.9% on that second point. But that's more than they've gotten so far in this series. This is a win condition on Kings Row. They didn't have that. They didn't get anything on Lijiang Tower. Here, they have a really good hold on that first point. They had a full hold, or at least they were able to hold on the second point, avoid giving away a first tick. We could be going to a map 4.
Potential certainly there. And going back to the attack, I mean, I can't help but feel that maybe you start off with the Graviton Surge and the Death Blossom and see what you can get with that combo out of the gate, and then close out with the Nano Blade. Might have been a different way to approach that, but hey, you know, hindsight's 20/20.
I think ultimate order and how you use them is so important.
Yeah.
And generally that's what your IGL is in charge of. Just like we use this to start, we use this in the middle, we use this to finish, or if they use this, we counter of this. All those things can get very complicated though, because it's very easy to have a plan, but in Overwatch, a game that's so chaotic and so quick, that can go out the window immediately when all of a sudden there's a wrecking ball in your face.
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. No changes out of the Northwestern Michigan composition heading on to this defense, still getting the Reaper Genji combo. Wrecking Ball in, and Miro's actually gone on to a Torbjorn for this attack. So just creating creating more difficulties that Witness has to overcome as the Genji to find value. OBL doing a little spin to win on the objective, finds Blank before getting finally punished, but this is looking like a point A take from Bryant Stratton. Narwhal is in here to clean things up.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen a Sombra Torbjorn DPS lineup very often, but it's very intriguing how it works, and I'd love to get into some more analysis about it. It seems like basically Torbjorn just becomes like a Reaper type character and leaves their turret somewhere where if someone tries to flank them, they get caught out and do damage. Or meanwhile, Torbjorn has that Overload, has that right click that they can use as more of a shotgun than long range to melt someone. Sombra seems to hack everyone that's in the tank's way. It's working out pretty well. They've already got that first point. Now victory's in sight.
Set was trying to hold some high ground. Nom says no, but Nom walks into a trap, gets hacked. Doesn't mind, you can still use those shotguns while you're hacked, and Nom is able to find that kill. OBL ends up off the side. And this is looking, well, pretty much like Bryant Stratton. They're still running out of resources. They always seem to bring back these fights where they go down early. I don't think it's going to happen this time, Jag.
No, I don't. The defensive spawn, as we talked about previously, is so good, but this is a Primal Rage being committed into this. OPL is back.
Gets a
Sound barrier is
kill?
being used. What is going on?
Tanks get shattered from Vortex Pickle, but Sound Barrier comes out from Set, and the Molten Core's on the point. Miro's able to pick up one with that. Set has a pair of kills. One of the most bloodthirsty Lucios I have ever seen paves the way for a Bryant Stratton 3-0. Oh, man, they once again pull back from a fight they had no business winning, and they come in and get the dub. This one to close out the series. Oh, Bryant Stratton looking as clean as ever.
Yeah, this is an all Grandmasters team. This is not shocking that they're this proficient. I think what's surprising is that they run these comps that say a little bit out of the box. They swap sub roles. Injustice and Sid actually swapped who's playing Lucio over the course of this last map. And they're still able to pull it out. They're still able to look so good. They're able to win fights where OBL goes off the map. And that was something that I think we saw in their grand final as well. They went a little bit too close to the water on Volskaya. This time they go a little bit close to the edge of Hanamura. It's very high up, this home of Genji and Hanzo. It's all the way in the Japanese mountains. And yet, still, here they are, another 3-0. This was also their first game of the season we talked about earlier. You know, this was, they got a bye last week. This is their first time really being able to show up with this new lineup, 2 new members. Just business as usual for them.
And let's not forget in that last fight, I mean, it wasn't just they were down 2. They were down their Ana and their Wrecking Ball, your primary source of healing, your primary source of engagement, and still managed to pull that back. Now, I got to say, the thing that stood out to me the most was just the absolute unmitigated gall coming out of Set and Injustice, willing to just go into the back line fearlessly. This whole squad has just no S-key. Like, I just stand by that. They just don't know the meaning of the word backup.
Yeah, I think really when you believe in yourself that much and you're that proficient at a character like Lucio, there's not a lot of danger. We did see sometimes they did get punished, sometimes they did get caught out. I think there were a few sleep darts, some anti-nades thrown their way. Sometimes they were focused down. But in general, Lucio has such great escapability because he can ride walls. He can just, speed out. There's so much he can do that kind of lets him kind of just run away, that if you feel confident in your ability to hit click heads early on and then just get out cleanly, you're going to play like that. It's very risky. It's what is described as a Reddit Lucio, but they're rarely punished overall, and just the team was able to do what they wanted to, despite the fact that it was sometimes a 5v6 because that Lucio was trying to spawn camp.
Well, nevertheless, Bobcats still proven they are the team to beat coming into the spring season. Your defending champs, change the lineup or not, changing rosters or not, they still looking as strong as ever. And we're going to get a chance to get some of their thoughts on this matchup. We're going to take a short little intermission. When we come back, we're going to have an interview with the Bobcats and see what they thought of this 3-0 sweep that we just witnessed. We'll see you back here in a moment.
We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Who do you think is going to fix all this? We will, because our future is the future. The next greatest generation is now.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch ahead.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
rogue virus. No jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Who do you think is gonna fix all this? We will, because our future is the future. The next greatest generation is now.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
A rogue virus. No jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Who do you think is gonna fix all this? We will, because our future is the future. The next greatest generation is now.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
We are back, and we have got Slater on the line, DPS extraordinaire, coming out of Bryant Stratton. Thank you so much for joining us for the interview. Congrats on the dub.
Thank you.
So how does it feel to get back into competing again after, quite a bit of a lengthy break?
It feels great. It's a lot more fun competing than just playing ranked. Ranked is just not as much fun.
Understandable.
Yeah, so I believe we actually interviewed you last time after you guys won the finals in the fall. I remember you wearing the hood, but some things have changed since then. I mean, you guys are still very proficient, but you have had a few roster changes. Narwhal and Miro have come in. I want to ask specifically, what is it like playing with Miro now? Now that you've got a different DPS duo partner coming into the mix, how have things changed up?
Miro's completely different than Everlong. Like, they play completely different heroes. Their communications are different. But Miro has a very big energy with him, and it's a lot more fun and enjoyable, like having somebody always sitting there, like screaming call-outs, A Doomfist player, which is even funnier because there's not that many Doom players anymore. Narwhal instead of Cyber is also a different one, new main tank person. You have to build the synergy again, try to play around them, try to get everything the same how it was with Cyber. It's definitely different, but I have been enjoying playing with them. I'm having a good time so far this semester.
A little bonus question on that. I mean, from what we saw, Cyber's still on the roster. Is that the case? Is it just coming in for different hero proficiencies, or is Narwhal pretty much the starter now?
For right now, Narwhal's the starter. Cyber's still on the roster, but he's just been dealing with a few things, so we're like, sure. Narwhal can play. So whenever Cyber's ready to come back and play, we'll be more than happy to have him back, be our main tank once again.
And just kind of following that thread, is there anything else that's gone on behind the scenes between last time we saw you winning the fall championship and seeing your debut here this week for spring? Anything in as far as the esports program or anything else aside from the obvious roster changes that's new coming into our spring 22 season?
Not too many things. Definitely try to play different players, see how that worked out. Didn't work out as well as we wanted it to work out, so we just went back to our normal roster, switch it around. Make sure that we're all, synergized. Team chemistry is at an all-time high. Just try to make sure we're all playing with each other and getting on the right start this semester, like how we finished last semester.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, clearly your routine was working for you in fall, so, just keep it going, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of playing with each other, one thing I noticed is that sometimes your Lucio player was not playing with you guys, whether it was Injustice or Set. There were some pretty crazy 1v6 attempts, some crazy flanks we saw Lucio go on. So when those sort of plays happen, is that something that's communicated? Do they just kind of go in and you guys hope for the best? Like, how does that end up happening?
Well, Injustice was playing Lucio for the first two maps. Set asked to play Lucio, so we were like, sure. And Set is a very big Reddit Lucio. He throws my ranked games doing the same stuff, so it's all just the same, you know what I mean? I see him going to the team. I know a beat drop's going to happen. We don't really follow it up. Nobody really tries to, play there because we think we might, lose the fight. But he's one heck of a Redditor, I can't lie. He's back there. Somehow he gets value. Or he wastes beat, and then they run in, and then they nano blade us for free. and they kill 3. And then I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, it would be great if you had Nano Blade.
Oh, well, we caught a lot of that. You know, we noticed, but you know what? You live or die on those Reddit Lucios. So hey, it worked out for you today. So
That's why Injustice is on Lucio. He doesn't Reddit as much.
As much. I mean, here's the Mora. We saw like the backline coalescence happen too.
The backline
so.
Mora. Oh my, these people love Mora Lucio just sitting in their backline. Like I had to play Widow, play our backline. I'm solo holding myself.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
Well, it was a fun game to watch. Any shout outs or final thoughts before we let you get out of here?
No, that's it. Thank you so much.
No, we
can't
really
wait to see you
appreciate
guys
being here.
again.
Yeah, well, likewise. I can't wait to see what you've got for us for the rest of the season. So, well, congrats on the dub, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
Oh, man, there you go. That was Slater coming in, DPS for Bryant Stratton. I love getting to talk to players, Jag. That may be my favorite part of this job.
Yeah, and it's great to talk to players we've already talked to. And, you know, I didn't even remember originally that we talked to Slater, but then I saw, the Hood. Yep, this is someone we've already been able to have a chat with. And I mean, it's the same energy from what I remember from last time. You know, obviously it put on a very good performance with Slater in particular, very calm, cool, and collected. Kind of just shows what this team is like, even though they have these new players, even though the energy might be different, even though they do have 2 Reddit Lucios, one maybe a little bit less Redditor-like than the other, they still are the same team, just as good as before, if not even better. We'll have to see how this season continues to develop for them, but there is one thing that I'm expecting, that is that Bryant Stratton will be the team to look out for.
And it sounds like they are even better from what we heard just there, that the chemistry is even better than what they had in fall. This is going to be a dangerous squad for the rest of spring. Certainly one to take notice and going to be the team to beat. But, well, that is going to do it for our match of the week here at the NJCAAE. Really appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Enjoyed some fantastic Overwatch. Big shout out to Reef and Pogchip behind the scenes who are keeping the cameras and, well, us as the casters looking good. So definitely a big shout out to them. And, well, we appreciate y'all very much tuning in. We will see you next week for week number 3. Until then, have a wonderful weekend, friends.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Who do you think is gonna fix all this? We will, because our future is the future. The next greatest generation is now.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
rogue virus. No jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.